Let's see. So we're running a little bit behind schedule, but that's okay because we know as soon as we try to be great, something comes up. I was prepared and everything, and here this goes. This is like crazy to me. So let me go ahead and get started with talking about what behind the highlight reels is, and then I should be able to bring my guest on shortly. But behind the highlight reels, the whole purpose, so this is the premiere. So happy Juneteenth to you guys. The entire purpose of behind the highlight reels is to get transparent and real. So many times, so many people put up all of this information about the great things that's going on in their lives. And there's nothing wrong with that, of course. But there are so many other things that are going on behind those highlight reels. We see all the perfect things, all the successes, um, and then we see everybody's happy, holy, beautiful journeys, but we actually see the end results, but we don't see the journeys that lie within. And I am a stickler for being transparent, being naturally transparent, because that is me, but also being honest, being truthful, and being 100% real, like 1,000% real, to the point where we have to realize that when we hold back on those lessons that are behind the highlight reel, we actually take away the actual lessons that we learned, and we take away the testimonies. When people only see the end results, the great highlight reel, and they don't see the work, they don't see the how we had to get down and dirty in the depths to get things done. They don't see the late nights, they don't see the tears, they don't see the frustrations, and we're not being transparent and real about it. They don't get to experience the reality of what it took to get you to that place. So this show is about getting the information to you guys about what happens on behind the highlight reels. And that's about business. It's about life. It's about your relationship with God. It's about your relationship with people. It's about communications, finances, everything. So give me one moment. I'm just trying to get on, y'all. This is my first time using this StreamYard. We was doing it with another just regular Facebook, and it's so crazy, y'all. It worked before, but it didn't work today. And I'm so appreciative of Carolyn, who is our guest, for showing me something I did not know, y'all, about the StreamYard. So forgive me if I am learning while I am moving, but we're going to keep it moving. So today, as we celebrate Juneteenth, because as we know, Juneteenth, good morning, Jennifer, or good afternoon, Jennifer. As we use Juneteenth is a time or a day where there was actually, we got information that we were free. Even though there was freedom before, we were free before the information was received today. And it's so crazy when I think about it. For 2.5 years, our people worked still with the mindset that they were enslaved, not even knowing that they weren't anymore. And even so, after Juneteenth, if we want to be honest, some people still kept them as slaves and made it difficult for them to even get their freedom, even though they already had this freedom. So if we think about how important it was to get free and get the freedom that we were supposed to have, and just the knowledge of information that was already out there, we just didn't know, and it wasn't nobody had told us. That was the perfect time for me to say, okay, I'm going to launch this on this same day. I'm going to make sure that this is my premiere episode. And then I also had Carolyn, who is a mindset accountability coach. Today is the 7th anniversary of her business. So y'all, this is divine. Just amazing how the Lord works. I'm trying to see how I can pull her in. Let's see if this does it. Forgive me if it doesn't, y'all. I guess I gotta wait for her to pop up. Let's see if she's on here. Let me look on mine. So thank you guys for tuning in. There will be, I know a lot of people wrote me in my private messenger to tell me that they won't be able to see the actual broadcast, but they wanted to know if there will be a replay. Guys, yes, there will be a replay on this page. Let me go ahead and share. Hey, Dion, I see that you're watching. All right, give me one moment. Let me go ahead and share it. Because there will be a replay, but the replay will be on the Tharissa M page and on YouTube, and I will get you guys on there too. Happy Juneteenth to you, Dion. Okay. So let's see. Y'all, let me tell y'all about my morning while I try to get Miss Carolyn in here. This morning, I am so full. Literally, I am so full because I woke up this morning and I was excited because I was like, okay, y'all, it's my premiere day. I gotta go to work still, but y'all know what? It's premiere day. It's Juneteenth. What better day? I mean, I can't even complain. And while I was praying, I got a text message, and let me tell y'all, Tara, and Tara is here. Hey, Tara. Tara sent me a prayer. When I tell you, it's everything to have praying friends. I mean, everything. I ain't gonna cry because I was crying all morning. But it's everything to have praying friends, people that's with you that will pray you through things. She sent me a phenomenal prayer, and I thank you so much for that. And then I get on Facebook and I get to see other people like my graduates from my fire fair course. They were here and I seen them doing their thing. Last night I seen a live stream from one of my other graduates, Miss Lisa Bailey. She is out here teaching people 30 days of financial freedom and financial motivation. She was amazing last night, and y'all, she don't do live stream, but she got up there and did it. That made my heart full. And then I seen, yeah, I got to see so many other so many other people from my fire fair course. I got to see Miss I'm trying to do like 5 things at the same time, so forgive me. But I got to see Miss Tara. She was up here showing us how to be grateful in our days. Yo. And then I also, like, on the flip side, I seen I don't want to mess your name up. Let me look at it so I can spell it the way it is. But I seen another student that I had in my course, and she was, even though she was not, hey Lisa, even though Lisa, I mean not Lisa, even though my student, she wasn't even as engaged. No, I'm not gonna say engaged. She didn't interact with us as much. I didn't even notice that she was still engaged. She was still watching the videos and she was still doing her work, and she was still on the flip side doing what she was doing in her business. Charlotta, I think that's how you say your name. Forgive me if I mess it up. She was out here. I'm trying to find a post so I could tell people about what you were doing today as well. Charlisa, I'm sorry. She is celebrating Juneteenth today. She's a speaker on 24 hours of entrepreneurship. And so I congratulate her as well. But today, if I could figure out how to get my guest on here, and y'all forgive me. Okay, maybe if I do this. Why you don't want to work with me? I want to bring in Carolyn. Let me see. Thank you, girl. Y'all forgive me. So, while we wait on Carolyn, I just want y'all to tell me. Okay, there's Carolyn right there. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to put that stuff up there. Okay, so while I wait on Carolyn, y'all, thank y'all for just being here through my learning curve. While I wait on her and me to get it together. I want y'all to tell me one way that you guys are celebrating Juneteenth today. Tell me one way. So I just told y'all 3 ways that 3 of my students are celebrating Juneteenth today. Y'all tell me one way. Yes, Tara, we are stronger together. So let's see what else y'all are saying. So I also have a watch party on my page. And while I'm waiting, can you guys share the page? Hopefully by the time you click the share, we'll have her on here. And while I wait, let me tell y'all a little bit about her, because I just want to make sure that I get all of this information about her. Y'all, so our guest that we're going to have on, I'm determined, so we're going to get on here. Y'all know, let me just side note. When y'all are about to do something, y'all know that everything in this power going to try to stop y'all from being greatness. When I woke up, I was like, this time feels different. This time feels different. This Juneteenth feels different. This year definitely is different. And today, I was like, yo, it feels different. I've launched a couple of different things. I've premiered a couple of different times on different things, but this time feels different. And so I knew after my heart was full and I was crying all morning just from just the gratitude of seeing so many people out here getting it, so many of my students out here getting it. Yo, I knew that somebody was going to try to step in, something was going to try to step in and mess me up, but guess what? I'm still thanking God for it, and we still going to celebrate. So here we go. We still got Carolyn in here. So Carolyn, let's go ahead and add her. Hey, girl.
Hey, hey. How
Look
you
at
doing?
you. Thank you so much.
How
Yes,
you doing?
looking.
We made it.
Yes, girl. Thank you so much for helping me. Y'all,
No
let me tell
problem.
y'all.
That was a close call, but we made it.
I was determined we was gonna get up in here because so I did a test of a live stream a couple weeks ago and it worked. I don't know what happened, but this day it didn't work. And Carolyn had to school me on something with the StreamYard because she's like, it doesn't work, and I'm like, but it did work. So now I'm feeling like some type of way
It's
because I'm
all
like, how
good.
could you betray
It's
me?
all
But that's
good.
fine.
It is all good.
It is good. She had to school me on a new technology and how to get myself together. So thank you, Carolyn. This is why we always have people in our court and on our team that's going to help us be great as we help each other. So Carolyn, I am super, super, super excited. I'm so glad that you chose to be a part of my premiere episode. And I made sure that I picked somebody that was going to help deliver people and help set my launch for this new
Not
show.
deliver people.
Yes, girl.
Oh,
Let me tell you something.
listen.
I talk about how Juneteenth happened and how it was a mindset like we didn't even know, but there was already a proclamation that said that we were free, but we didn't know.
Right.
Only because the information wasn't shared with us. And I feel like so many times there are so many things that's happening that we don't know, and we're stuck in a one place because information wasn't shared. So who better to have on a premiere than somebody that's going to help open up mindsets, who's going to help us learn to live authentically and be authentic in our businesses. That's such a big deal. So let me go ahead and introduce you. So Miss Carolyn, she is a small business marketing pro. So if you need some marketing, some PR help, contact Carolyn, and her Instagram is here on the screen. Contact her. She is a mindset accountability coach, and that's one of my favorite things because if you don't have your mind together, y'all, you're not gonna make it in anything. It doesn't matter how many hours you put in it, how much work you put in it. If your mind ain't in it, you're not gonna make it. Y'all, she is the founder and CEO of an integrated marketing firm. It's called the PR Shop. And she also takes pride in adding value to entrepreneurs and small business owners through her personal brand, Resilience in Business. Y'all know this is a working woman. She got your back in anything that you need. Now, Resilience in Business is an online empowerment platform that teaches winning marketing strategies and advocates doing it afraid.
Doing
Y'all,
it afraid.
when I say there's so many similarities between us, she advocates doing it afraid. I advocate fire and fear. We both talk about getting our mind over that one thing because fear is one of the biggest things that take us out. Carolyn, thank you so much for being on the show with me. How are you today, this Juneteenth Friday?
Listen, I cannot even like focus. So, a little bit of a confession. I was going to have my team work from noon to about 12 today.
Mm-hmm.
And especially to make sure that they catch me on today's live. But when I woke up, I was like, I can't focus. I can't focus. It is Juneteenth. Not only is it Juneteenth, but it's my agency's 7th anniversary today. So I was like, we're taking off. We're taking off. Celebrate, activate. Celebrate, activate. So
Yes.
that's how I'm feeling.
Yeah. 7 is such a phenomenal number. I told her this was divine connection that we met. And let me tell you, let me go ahead and give you a little confession of myself. Y'all, I have been holding out on Behind the Highlight Reels for years. Literally, I've had the show title for so long. I've had everything in my back pocket, but I was like, oh, I need to wait till it's perfect. I gotta wait till I get a logo. I gotta wait till I get so much. I have to wait to this. Yo, I met Carolyn. She seen me in a course that we both were in for Sade I Do.
Yes.
Oh, why I do. She had a course teaching us how to make courses and perfect our courses. And she seen me in there. And I'm gonna tell you, that was God right there, because I wasn't even in there as much because I was doing so much work. I couldn't catch every video that she did, but I was trying to catch all the nuggets I could. And Carolyn wrote me an email just to connect. And from there, like, we talked about collaborating, and she was quick with it, like, no need to waste time. How about this date? And it took me by surprise because I'm so used to people just talking and never putting stuff into action. And y'all, Carolyn is all about the action. She like, okay, we're gonna do it on this day. You ready? I'm like, oh, well, wait a minute. Okay, yes. And being on her live stream and just being like, this is what we're going to do. We don't have time to waste. Let's get it doing. That inspired me to say, you know what? I don't have time to waste. I don't know. I don't have to wait for perfect. Let's get this started now, because every time I procrastinate, I'm holding somebody else back. So I thank you, Carolyn, so much for being inspirational to me, even in that.
Aww. Well, you are so very welcome. And I tend to deal with perfectionism as well. So what I do is I have a reminder in my email. If anyone ever sends me an email, it says done is better than perfect. Mm-hmm. And that really helps me to move things along, because I'm with you. I get it.
Yes. Y'all, excuse me, my dog. This is really live. Okay, Coco. It's okay. Somebody knocked on the door. She don't like it. She like, nah, don't knock on my door. Not this is not the time.
She got to protect you.
So let's go ahead and get started, because I like to tell people I'm not going to have an interview. We're having a conversation. So I want to talk about what Juneteenth means to you today.
Ooh, well, so one thing that my friends, thank you all for joining, my tribe who's joining, my team, but for people who know me, or if they follow my brand, they know that I really do my best to be as authentic as possible. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to start out saying that because, like, I'm sure some others who are on this live, Juneteenth, I knew that it was a special day for Black culture. However, I didn't really honor that day until this stuff has happened. You know, I knew Juneteenth was there. You know, I would buy black around Juneteenth, the week of Juneteenth. I'd post. But for me, this Juneteenth is different.
Girl, it's so different. Mm-hmm. I said the same thing.
It's going to be like the new 4th of July, right? Like, by 4th of July, hello, Juneteenth, because we're not free.
Right.
So we're going to celebrate Juneteenth. So that's what it means to me. It means empowerment. It means camaraderie. It means support. It means culture. It means pride. That's why y'all see me blinged out like this. But we are Black people. Everybody wants our magic. So the world needs to know about us. And Juneteenth, I support Juneteenth being a national holiday.
Yes, ma'am. I said the same thing. I said when I woke up this morning, it feels different.
It feels
I
different.
like you, same thing. I've known about Juneteenth for years. I try to buy black as much as possible. Not even just on Juneteenth, but as much as possible. But this year, everything feels different, and I was like, "There's no way that I'm gonna go through without celebrating." I started
Because
from when I was at work. My first email was "Happy Juneteenth, y'all." And if I get in trouble, they're gonna have to come hard for it because I
and if
got
you get
it.
in trouble, that's going to be a problem with
Right. That's why I was
everybody.
like, they're gonna have
Let
to
us
come
know.
hard for it. But the Lord knew He set their hearts ready, and we're gonna keep it moving. I
And
mean,
here's the thing, you mentioned something about buying black. For
mm-hmm,
everybody who's listening, especially for my followers, to celebrate Juneteenth and my company's anniversary, I'm buying black all weekend long. So if you
mm.
follow me, tag me in the post that I just made on both Instagram and Facebook. I'm buying all weekend long. Show me what you got. I want to support you.
Y'all hear it now? Don't say ain't nobody ever give y'all no attention. Ain't nobody ever give y'all a chance because she's saying she buying black all weekend long. And girl, I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna take that lead, and I'll do the same thing. If y'all have some stuff, post it in our pages, post it on our timelines, post it here so that we can see not just us but other people that are ready to buy black. Do y'all know how many groups and statuses I've seen where people are out here getting this money because they are visible and they're putting their stuff out there? We out here ready. Go ahead, put it out there so we can help and support you, because the only way we're going to do this is if we do this together. Okay?
Economic empowerment. Yes,
Yes,
yes. I have
ma'am.
a good girlfriend on right now. She has a whole company, Taran, hey Taran, that empowers minority business owners nationally. You know what I
Yes.
mean? So that's what it's about. And Taran, I'm gonna have to check out your clients because I know you got some goods on your website.
Okay, Taran. So I love that idea. I love that idea. Now I know even I'm looking, I'm having a watch party, so I'm constantly looking to see what they're saying over here too. We have some other people. One of my graduates, Lisa Bailey, says she's buying all black today. So y'all make sure y'all post y'all's information on these pages so that people can utilize your services and your products, okay?
And in the live. And in the live. So
Yes.
my intern just posted her company.
Yes,
Candy
ma'am.
Cosmetics. Check it out. I will be buying something, Alicia. Thank you so much for posting.
All right. So, okay, so let's talk about living authentically and living in freedom with being authentic. I know so many times we are looking at what everybody else is doing on social media. We like, well, why they get to do this and how they get to that. And it looks like everybody is just one night they're one way and the next day they're another way. And it makes you want to, and I'm not gonna lie, I've done it before. Stop, Coco. It makes you want to switch up your game and be like
Okay.
this. But that's not authentic. And you always fail every time. Talk to us about what it means to live authentically and be free in that authenticity.
Oh, Jesus. So, for me, what living authentically means is living your life just the way you are. And I want to be clear on that because you can be just the way you are and be rotten. But what I mean is
Mhm.
just the way you are from a heart space. I think that oftentimes, especially like people who are driven, or if you're like entrepreneurial, if you have a business, or if you just got goals, right? Sometimes we listen too much to what everybody else says and to what
Mhm.
everybody else thinks. And I will never forget when I decided to start my company and move from New York to Chicago. I was so sad. I was so scared. I didn't really want to leave New York, but I knew I kind of needed to in order to grow up. And there's a quote by Steve Jobs, and it's about dogma. And it basically says, dogma is when you are living your life for others. Stop living your life for others and live your life for yourself. And when I read that quote, it just, something in me just switched, right? And then from then on, I said, I am going to be me. Because
Mhm.
if I continue to spend my life, the rest of my life, trying to please people, then I'm never going to really be me. And people are being attracted to someone who's not 100% me.
Mm-hmm.
So what I figured is, guess what? I'm just going to be who I am. I'm going to work on myself. I'm going to invest in personal development. I'm going to do good. And whoever is attracted to me, that's who's attracted to me.
So I'm glad that you mentioned one, you made a decision. I think it's so important for us to realize like we made a decision, but talk to us about the times where you've had to remember that decision, because I talk to a lot of people,
Yeah.
especially my students, and I let them know deliverance is not a one-time thing, it's an everyday choice. It's a sometimes every hour, every minute choice. Talk to us about those times where you had to remember that, hey, I did make this decision, and you almost slipped back up into that unauthenticity. But talk to us about those times and what you did to remain authentic.
So here's the thing. There's so many times that I've been inauthentic, even
Mm-hmm.
after I committed to being authentic, because I'm human. And we have to learn how to give ourselves grace. But here's the thing, when you're aware of something, then you can always come back to it. I think that sometimes people think that because we've been delivered from something, it means that we're never ever ever going to be tempted again. We're never ever going to slip. We're never ever going to fall, and that's just so much pressure. So whenever I slip up, or if I feel my inauthenticity creeping up, I always try to come back to I always try to come back to the heart of the matter. I always try to come back to my why, and like why it's important for me to be like that. Because we only get to live life one time, y'all. One time on this earth. So live it well. Live it well. And be your true self, and forgive yourself, and have grace for yourself.
Yes, I definitely think that that's important for us to be remembering our why. Because I remember I used to be in a network marketing company, and they used to say, "What was your why?" And I would give them all types of things that sounded nice, and they would be like, "No, your why needs to make you cry." And I'm like, "Well, I don't cry that much," because at the time I wouldn't. Now I cry all the time. I cried. I told you I cried this morning just because I was so happy. But they were like, "Your
I
why
do
needs
too.
to make you cry," and I'm like, "I don't cry that much." And I never realized what they really meant. My why needed to be strong enough for me to actually make moves. The why that I was saying just was stuff that it was like, oh, that would be nice if, but
Right.
the real why, it made me move. And every time you think on those whys, it does cause you to be authentic and cause you to jump back into what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Right. So I know you talked about what led you to be authentic, but tell us about how that authenticity can transfer into your business part, like where people, because I know you are the PR coach over here, the marketing coach. How can people be, let me, how can they be confident that they can be authentic and still market and make money? Tell us how that all goes together.
Absolutely. I believe that the more authentic that you are, the more true to who you are, will help you in business. Because, again, one thing that you have to understand, or that I've learned as an entrepreneur, everybody is not going to be attracted to me. Everybody's not going to be attracted to my light. And I am okay with that now. I think, again, sometimes we want to please everyone. We want to cater to everyone. And that makes us inauthentic, because at some point and somewhere, you're going to disappoint someone, or you're going to say something that someone doesn't like. And then what happens? So my advice is to, again, live in your truth, and you will be drawn and attracted to the people who need to see you. And that's really what it is. Even when, again, I just onboarded some interns for the summer, and Alicia is on the live right now. When Alicia and I had an interview, I noticed that she was, and this Alicia's a young woman, and I noticed that she was very confident. I noticed that she was transparent, and I felt that she was just very much sure of who she was, and I was attracted to that. I interviewed other interns, but Alicia got that position because we we were attracted to each other. Even so much, she asked me, Carolyn, I hope that I'm not offending you by asking this question, but when is your birthday? So I told her my birthday, and she was like, oh my gosh, our birthdays are like a week apart from each other, right? And for those of you who believe in astrology and things like that, we're both Virgos. And she said, oh my God, I feel like I'm looking at myself. And I was like, I feel like that too. And now we're working together. So be who you be, and the people who need to see you, they're going to see you. They're going to be attracted to you. And then another point about authenticity in business is, I feel like integrity is
Yeah.
like the cousin or the sibling of authenticity. Because when you are authentic, when you have integrity in business, that's how you're going to sell, because you're going to honor your word. Too many businesses, and I'm gonna get on my black owned businesses for this good old Juneteenth, because I don't need to talk about everybody else. I'm talking about us.
Yes.
Because I try to support my people first. I will always support my people first, or at least try. And I feel like too many businesses, they'll sell you the story, they'll sell you the dream, but then when it's time to show and prove, oh my gosh, where did the integrity go? The integrity goes out the window, and your customers will not forget you. They
Mm-hmm.
don't say anything, but when you don't get that repeat customer, think about why. Sometimes it's not meant to be, and you do all that you can, but sometimes, and often, sometimes we slip up, and we don't stand in our integrity. So authenticity and integrity.
I love, love, love that you mentioned integrity. That's something that I talk to people about all the time. Let me tell you, I love that you said sometimes you slip up. I think also being in having integrity means when you slip up, you go ahead and tell people, because when you lie about it, it makes you look bad and it doesn't line up. Like, for example, just an example, I'm just using me because I don't like talking about people all the time. But for example, when we started the live stream, I went ahead and told people, y'all, I messed up. And I thought that it was one way and I had to do it a different way. But guess what? People are still here. Another example that I use, I've had people to, especially during COVID situation, everybody was hustling and pushing their businesses, and especially those face masks. Well, if you didn't know what you were doing, or if because the orders were coming in so quickly, if there was certain people, I've seen multiple business owners do this, they had these orders that they were putting on, but there were so many times that they weren't able to keep up with the orders. And instead of being honest with their customers to say, hey, I can't turn it around in 24 hours, I may have you by the week, they continued to say 24 hours, and people started getting upset. I've seen so many business owners make that wrong choice of lying, and that's not having integrity. Because what's going to happen is, let's say that was just your side hustle. Let's say your real business was something else. Well, the way you moved in that is how I'm going to assume you're moving in all your businesses, and that's how I'm going to assume you're moving in life. I'm not going to want to deal with people that operate that way. And that's what really happens. Your business is a reflection of you. And if people think that you don't have integrity in business, they're not going to trust you on a personal level. So I think I'm so glad that you mentioned that, because that comes hand in hand, like you said, cousin, sister, almost like twins. Integrity and being authentic. Just be honest. People are forgiving once you allow us to be forgiving. But once you put that facade up that you're perfect, then ain't nothing to forgive. Because remember, you said you was perfect, you know. But
Right.
we talked about living in an authentic purpose, right? But sometimes, because we also talked about it's important to recognize and realize, sometimes people are living in denial. Please talk to us about what types of things that people can use to gauge if they are being unauthentic. Because sometimes you'll put up, and I'll be honest, I've done it in my past where I've lied to myself so much and not been authentic, being authentically somebody else so much that I didn't even recognize that that wasn't even me until it took a whole life like turning point. Tell me about how people can recognize if they are living unauthentically?
Well, I will say this. And it's always guttural.
Mm,
You may never tell anybody. But the
yeah.
things that keep you up at night, that's when you know that you're living inauthentically. When you have an argument with your friend and you went a little bit too far and you fail to apologize to the person
Mm,
that you love so much, and you're in bed and you can't sleep, that's when you know you're living inauthentically. So I believe that there are signs that will tell you, and it's like internal signs that will tell you. And then the external signs is if you have a loved one, someone who genuinely cares about you, or a good friend. And the reason why I said a good friend is because you can have a friend and that friend
yeah.
will not be a good friend for you. But if you have a good friend who cares about you, that person will let you know, hey, you're not really, come on, you know better than that. And
Right.
so what I do, because God is still working on me. So again, for those of you who know me, hey JJ, you know what, my friend. So it's funny because my friend Jamila's on here. Hey JJ, and I was just going to say, God is delivering me from the spirit of petty. I'm like
Girl.
I'm like a natural comedian where, like, in my mind, I'm not trying to be offensive or mean. It's just something funny. That's really my culture, the culture that I've come from. I'm
Hmm.
Caribbean, where they go in. They may not be as bad as like the African culture, but Caribbeans, they're kind of hard too, right? So like for me, I may say a joke and then my friends be like, you wrong. And especially my crew from New York, where I did something a couple of weeks ago or maybe a couple of months ago, and they was like, come on now, that's not right. Like, can we stop? And I had to make a decision then and there to say, even though I did not say that with ill intent, my friend took that. She took it and she didn't appreciate it. And I had to be mature enough to say, you know what? That was me being petty. That was me not living in my authenticity, excuse me. And sometimes you just gotta change. You just gotta change, even if it's not a crime. If it offends people that you love, if it's impacting your business, if it's messing with your shmoney,
Mm,
then you need to change. There's also lots of personal development
yeah.
activities and conferences and summits and, everything, where go ahead and check them out, because sometimes we think we're fine. And then when we go and we learn about certain things, we're like, oh, I got work to do. You are always a work in progress. Never forget that.
That girl. You are like preaching to the choir over here. I've learned, especially in this 2020. I'm telling you, 2020. I've learned, and it's funny because I've known little parts, and the Lord has tried to show me, but 2020 was like dead in my face. That even though I may say something, my intentions were pure. It doesn't matter what my intentions are. It matters how they received it. And if it doesn't matter, because I'm one of those people, I would try to explain to you and get you to understand what my intentions were. That does not matter because it matters how it hit them. So even if I feel like I didn't do anything wrong, sometimes I still need to apologize, not for my intentions, but for how it hit. I could have done better. And I think it's important, especially us, to learn how to communicate more effectively. And even how to communicate with those, because the Lord is working on us all, those facial expressions. My facial expressions will say some things that my mouth didn't put out. I'm like, what's wrong with y'all? Why y'all acting like that? And they're like, I'm and I'm like, but
Yeah.
I didn't say nothing. You didn't have to say nothing. You didn't have to speak it, but your face said enough. And so I think it's important for us to learn how to communicate effectively and better, and learn that giving ourselves grace, because you mentioned that we have to give each other grace as well, because we're all not perfect. And sometimes the way I think, because we also have to think about it, the way I think may not be the same way you think. And the way you think may be because of the way you grew up, how you said that was your culture. Well, I may have had a different culture. So in my culture, this may be okay, but in your culture, it's not. So understanding how to communicate effectively, how to forgive each other, and how to listen. It's important, even in living authentic, listen to each other so that you can start to learn each other and learn how those different cultures are different. I remember taking classes in business, and they were like, over there overseas, I think in China, they don't do handshakes. And so if you go over there and you do that, you may put somebody off, and there's your whole business plan that you thought you was going to get over there. But we had to take a time to learn that culture to see how they do business so that we can come to a healthy compromise. And I think we'll do that for everybody else. And this is just talking to my people. We don't give each other grace for us. And I think that's something that goes in with living authentic, is
Absolutely.
understanding how to communicate, how to listen, and how to get yourself out of your own shoes and put yourself in somebody else's shoes. I think that's so important. So I'm so glad that you mentioned that. And I don't want to hold you, because girl, we're gonna have to do this again, because there's so many other things I want to talk to you about, because you were giving out some good stuff. But I'm just trying to have a little, lunch session, about 45 minutes. But can you tell people the biggest tip that you would give somebody when it comes to stepping out? Like right now, if somebody's watching and they're saying, you know what, I'm being fake. I know, I feel it in my gut that I have not been living in my authentic truth. How do I make a change? Can you tell them the first step, the biggest tip you have for them?
Yeah, absolutely. Seek personal development assistance,
Mm-hmm.
whether that is through a life coach, therapy. There's an amazing program. It's called Landmark Forum, where it's a 3-day intensive, and you sit in a sterile room for 3 days, 16-hour days, and you learn about all of the blind spots in your
Mm.
mind. That is my advice. Seek personal development through, don't seek it from yourself, because sometimes we like to look inside. After you get done looking inside, right? Seek help. There are professionals out here who can help you to develop your character. You
Mm-hmm.
can actually change. You can transform. And I think some people, oh, can't nobody change me. And no, God can change you, first of all.
Amen.
But secondly, he uses people, he uses professionals, he uses experts to pour into you. Right now, I'm running an online accountability group,
Mm.
and I'm pouring into my tribe. We are working on goals. We're working on accountability. We're working on mindset. There's people out there to help you. So invest in that. And sometimes it's going to cost you this. And here's the thing, when we spend money,
Mm.
it helps us to have a better appreciation for what it is that we are doing as well. So that's my advice.
Girl, so I'm so glad that you mentioned um, the personal development, because I think if it wasn't for me, the personal development would have never been sought after if the Lord didn't help me. And I think that people too often say, well, pray about it, pray about it. Well, sometimes we're at a place where we don't even pray for ourselves. We can't pray for ourselves. So we have to seek help. So seeking help is important. So as we are about to go ahead and close out our first episode, can you tell people how to get in touch with you for marketing purposes, for accountability purposes, for mindset? How do we get in touch with you?
Can somebody put it in the chat? Is anyone watching? Alicia, are you still watching? Alicia, if you're watching, can you put in www.theprshop.biz? That's my
I'll
business
do it.
website. Thank you so much. Oh, Crystal's watching too. Hey, Crystal. www.theprshop.biz, www.carolinsfraser.com. Yep, you got it. And then www.carolinsfraser.com. Those are my two websites. Go there, you'll find me everywhere else. But again, what I've decided, because I want to live free, I wanted to be able to work in my passion, which is PR and marketing. And I also wanted to be able to empower people, which is CarolynSFraser.com, Resilience in Business, where I can give back and I can empower and I can help you to move through fear. So I love you. Thank you, everyone, for joining me. I really appreciate y'all. Theresa, I am so happy and grateful to be your first.
Yes.
We'll never forget your first.
No, girl.
And
No.
definitely not the last.
Yes, ma'am. And for everyone that is wanting to know how to make sure that you can catch us on the next Behind the Highlight Reels, make sure you go to my Theresa M page, and then let me see. My next one will be on the 26th. So next Friday. Yes, it's the 26th. Same time, same place. I'll give you guys the flyer. Carolyn, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. We will have to schedule another one because there are so many other things that we could talk about, so much conversation that we have, so we can help our people to get up out of what we in right now. Okay.
Absolutely.
Thank you guys.
Happy
I love you
Juneteenth.
guys. Thank you. Happy Juneteenth.